Hello everyone, and welcome to my channel. I'm so glad you stopped by. Now today I'm going to be working with these pattern papers that came in the Be Happy Simon Says stamp kit. I've kind of been hoarding or sitting on these papers because I really like them. I like some sides a little bit better than others, but I really like the paper. I actually wish they had given you, instead of 6, I wish they had given you 12 pieces of it, because I think then you could have felt like you could have used, you know, some of these things a little bit more than what you do. That's why I've been hesitant to use them, because there's just so few of them and I want to make good use of them. But I have an idea in how I like this side. I think that's cute. And then I also like this little kind of vignette, or whatever you want to call it there. And so I kind of have an idea of maybe how I can salvage this and maybe get enough of this for what I need for my card tonight. So what I was thinking is I would bring in one of my Spellbinders A2 dies, and perhaps I could get enough of this cut out. I think I wanted the bigger one. Yeah, so I could get enough of this cut out to where I could salvage this for a card, but then I'd also have enough for a matte backer panel. And I was looking between the two of these. I really wanted to get, I think I could use a smaller one, but I don't think I'm gaining anything on the edge when I do that anyway. So I can either have more of the floral or less of it. And I think I want it to be like that because I want to get the top of those. So I think I'll use, I'll just use this bigger one. And let me just tell you what it is. I'll measure it here. It's roughly 3 1/4 by 4 1/2. 3 1/4 by 4 1/2. It's probably, if you measured this, it's probably 3 by 4 1/4 is what it is, because the die sits on the inside of that. Anyway, so I'm going to grab some of my pink tape and just get this lined up real well, and then die cut it out and see if what I think I'm doing will actually work. Just trying to get this lined up real well. I think that'll work. So I'm going to go to my die cutting machine and I'll be right back, and then we can start working on our card. Okay, so I did have success. I was able to die cut this out, and I think this is a nice panel that I could use for something else. And then I had enough for my frame. Now, if I would have, you know, moved this over a little bit, I would have had a better frame, but I was more interested in salvaging some of the paper than I was of having a straight frame, because it doesn't matter, it's going to be covered up. So I'm just going to lay this aside. This will be for another card at another time, and I'm going to be working with this here. I do a lot of ink smushing, and when I do, I don't waste the ink. I grab a panel and I clean it up, and so that's what this here is. I grabbed a panel and cleaned up the ink smushing that I had done on my desk, and it's been laying on my desk for a week or so. And I just took the embossing folder that came in the Be Happy kit, and I just ran this ink smushed panel through it. So I've got this beautiful blue, purple, pinky, white blend, and I think it's really pretty. So that's why I was thinking that this, which is too big, goes this way, could make a nice little, if I lay this down, I must have gotten my measurements off. Yeah, I'm going to have to do some cutting. Okay, so the measurements are, this should be 4 by 5 1/4, this piece. And I'm going to have a little white edge. And then this is 3 1/4 by 5. And that'll give me a nice little border. It doesn't show much of my border. I feel like I could make it a little bit smaller. I'm going to go ahead and do that real quick. Okay, so I've got my measurements squared away. Oh, I had to go down to 4 3/4 by 3 3/4, I think. Anyway, so what my plan is to use this for a just kind of a panel, and so that you can see some of those sunflowers behind it, and then put this on there. I thought the blues kind of blended together. This obviously is a little bit darker, but I just thought they would kind of blend together. So what I'm going to do is just bring in my glue. I thought this was pretty too. Once I cut it out, I thought, oh, that's kind of interesting. But anyway, I'm going to bring in my glue and just get this panel laid down on my card base, and we'll go from there. Got a little bit of white showing through there. Hopefully that'll look okay. Just trying to get it lined up. With my glue, I've got that little bit of movement time, so just trying to get it on there good and straight. Okay, now so that I don't have, I wanted to save this so that I don't have a big gap. I've got a piece of a panel here that's almost the right size for it. It's just a little shy. It was just something I had laying on my desk, and I thought I would just stick it in there and just to kind of keep my layers level. I like to do that when I die cut out that middle, just to kind of help your card lay flat like it should. Okay, now I think we're where we need to be. I think what I'm going to do is go ahead and pop this up, and I'll just bring in some strips of foam tape here real quick. I liked, a lot of times I like to pop up my embossed panels. Now I really like the fact that when you emboss an ink smooshed panel, it will flatten that baby out. So that's really nice, because a lot of times they have a tendency to bow or curve upward, or when you got that ink on there. But I suppose you could flatten it out. I didn't take the time to flatten it out. I just put it in a little stash area where I put some things that I've blended and I know I'm going to use again. I've just got a little area where I can just stick them, and so that's what I did. And I didn't even bother to press it. But since I used the embossing folder, it worked out great. Okay, now we need to line this up on here. I think that looks pretty good. I like that. I'm glad I trimmed this down a little bit more, because now I can see a little bit more of that pattern there. So this is a top folding card, and we've got that. Now the next thing I want to do is I want to use some more of these punch outs, because I've got them. I need to use them. So anyway, so I punched out this here because I think this could kind of just stand alone by itself. So I punched it out, and I thought it would be nice. And I'm just going to bring in some of those little, oops, I got one stuck to my finger. These things just slide right off the carrier sheet. So I'm just going to bring in some of these because I want to pop it up, but I don't need a lot, a huge amount of dimension, because I've already popped this up. So I'm just going to get some of these laid down on here real quickly. And I think I mentioned on my last card with this kit that these are, the dimension on these are not as thick. And I could tell you what they were if I hadn't just put that content sheet away. I did just come in from my nightly bike ride, so hopefully my breathing has returned to normal. I did try to do my cool down before I got started here, but it was a nice evening for a ride. It's much cooler than it has been, and it was just really nice to get out there and get it done. So I'm glad to be back on my bike and getting after it. I've kind of been, over the winter and the spring, just having too much of a relaxing time and enjoying too many sweet treats. So I'm trying to get back on track. We have a vacation coming, actually a couple vacations coming up that I thought it would be nice if I got myself back into shape for, so that'll be good. It's taken me a minute to pull all these off. Today I had the kids today. It was a busy day. Of course, we had to get the breakfast and get my granddaughter on the bus, which is always a fun event. The boys want to go out and wait by the bus and watch her go. So we did that. And then we had tried to get our naps, our breakfast naps, everything in. And then both the boys had a haircut. So had to do that. Now this is, if you saw my It's Not a Card video, which I can link again, I stamped and then mica sprayed some paper, and I got this design, and I had a little tiny scrap of this left, and I thought it would look nice with the yellow that's in there. So I'm going to bring it in, and I'm going to get my thanks, which I've layered up. I used the black glossy paper that was included in the kit for this, and I put 3 layers of just regular cheap black paper behind it so that I could pop it up. So that's what I'm going to do, and I'm going to just put it on this, and I think it'll make a nice sentiment, and this will be a quick, easy card that's got a lot of different things going on. I mean, we've got an ink smooshed panel, we've got an embossed panel, we've got some of the paper pack from the kit. We've got a stamped and sprayed panel, and we've also got the die cut from the pack. So I feel like I'm making some good use out of this kit, which I'm glad. Anytime I buy a kit, I want to make sure I get my use out of it. So that laid down nice. I'm happy. Last one I laid down was a little bit messy. Now I need to think about this because I'm going to need some, looks like the A and the N needs some glue, and the K, S, and the TH need some foam. And I'm thinking I might just bring in, I think I might need a little bit, let me see. Nope. I'm going to go ahead and go with these dots. I was just thinking if it would need to be a little bit higher, but I think it'll be all right. Just try to level these off. I made a really cute, I'll show you when I get done here. I made a really cute Cricut / Spellbinders card earlier today that I didn't film. It's for a engagement. So I think it turned out really nice, and I was really pleased with it. My husband's coming in, so he may start speaking any minute. I just heard the back door open and close. So here's my little yellow, and I thought I would just lay it right down on here. Try to get it lined up. And I think that looks really cute. I'm really pleased with that for a card. I hope you like it. I'm going to bring that other card in just to show you. So I made this card earlier today, and I used the Spellbinders embossing folder of the month of August. I used the Glimmer from Spellbinders, and then I used my Cricut to cut this out. And this is Spellbinders brushed foil, or brushed black cardstock. So I think it turned out really neat. But that was fun earlier today. But this is our card for this evening, and I think it's cute. And I'm so happy that I'm going to have this panel left to use for another card. In fact, I could use both sides, but I think I'm going to try and incorporate this somehow. So thanks for watching. Have a great evening. Take care. Bye-bye.